West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show on WKLM.
This week's Knights Football Preview being brought to you by MRV Siding Supply. I'm Matt Croy alongside Jake Sido, and Jake, West Holmes a bit of a slow start last week, up by just a touchdown at halftime, but they got on track in that second half, outscoring Tri-Way 27-0 to get it going to get that win.
Yeah, and like we said, the offense started off slow, but they got some explosive plays. 2 touchdowns by Kyle Maltrich in the second half, and a scoop and score really just put it out of reach and what did not seem like a 30-point game.
It certainly did. You mentioned a slow start. Give Tri-Way some credit to that. This is a Tri-Way team that won 7 games last year. Obviously a talented quarterback in Zach Miller, and Tri-Way came out and they were ready to play and didn't make things easy on West Holmes.
Well, historically, whenever we see the Titans and the Knights play, it's a rivalry game. They always get the best out of each other. And like we said, the Titans, they had some good opportunities throughout the game. They just couldn't get it into the end zone after that first touchdown. They had a few drives fizzle out deep in Knights territory and a few end on some fourth down and short plays. They just couldn't convert.
Their first matchup, of course, since 2019. For West Holmes defense, you think about the game. Tri-Way, their only score the opening drive of the game, and the Knights defense doing a good job keeping them out of the end zone after that.
It was the bend, not break mentality in week one. That's something I think was great to see in week one, but as we move forward, especially into OCC play with the Knights, I think that's something you want to see them stiffen up a little bit. Don't even bend. Just go out there, play Knights football.
And for West Holmes, although it was sloppy maybe at times for a season opener, certainly for the Knights, you still saw that explosive offense at times for the Knights.
Yeah, whether it's a long pass down the field or making some plays with his legs, Wolf out there had himself a game, and he's going to be ready to go, I'm hoping, for Orville.
All added up to a victory. West Holmes now 1-0 in the season, getting set to take on the Orville Red Riders this week. And I'm joined by West Holmes Knights head football coach Zach Gardner this time around. And West Holmes, of course, that 41-7 win and their season-opening victory over Tri-Way. And Coach, you kind of talked about after the game, obviously, for your taste, maybe a little sloppy for your taste. But at the same token, isn't that part of that just being a season opener? You're going to have to get through that first game before you get to that game, too.
Yeah, obviously your emotions are heightened anyway, with it being week one, going out and playing, for the first time that counts. But when you add on to it, Tri-Way, rivalry game, that adds more. I didn't help getting our kids too jacked up. I take full responsibility for the sloppiness at the start of the game, for having our kids almost too amped up. That's an important job of a head coach to do that. But when you go out there and you have all of that, the stands being packed the way that they were, I can't say enough about Knights Nation. We come out at 5:50 and those away stands are completely filled with jacked up, ready to roll fans, and what a treat for our kids in our community to have that type of support from Knights Nation. But all that came together. We were obviously sloppy at the start. We gave them first downs on penalties. We dropped passes. We had a couple missed assignments. But at halftime, the speech was, guys, take a deep breath. Let's go out and let's have a business-like approach. And I was happy with the way that we came out in the second half and put them away.
No question about that. And in the end, Zach, so however you do it, it's nice always to get a win, obviously, and it's certainly over your rival, as you mentioned.
No, absolutely. That is a game that means a lot to the kids on our football team, to the players who have played past and present of this program, and to the community and the school as well. So, anytime you can go out and, assert your will like we did over our rival, that's a good thing.
We saw, Zach, obviously, the different times here when you think about the touchdowns by Sam Williams-Dixon. Obviously, we know what he can do, but also the connection between Mason Wolf and Kyle Maltrich, a couple touchdown passes, just a glimpse of what the explosiveness this offense can bring.
No, absolutely. We're very excited about the ability we have to distribute the ball to our playmakers. We feel that we have, guys that can score. Even if you go back to our preseason and seeing all the guys that have scored touchdowns and the ways that we have, to score, we feel that, however you line up, it just give us some time to diagnose it, and we're going to be able to distribute the ball to a lot of playmakers.
Got a win there. You move on to the non-conference play this week. A team that's sort of been a rivalry over the years, so obviously Orville on the road. What expected to see from this Orville team?
Yeah, another local, former league member, a school that we have a lot of history with, and it's just going to be another game for us where we're going to have to diagnose what they're doing, go out and play our game. The message all week has been business-like approach. We don't want to come and be too amped up. We want a business-like approach. We want to go take care of our business, go execute, and do the things that we're capable of against a very talented Orville team.
All right, Zach, thanks for your time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
That's the voice of the head coach, Zach Gardner.
Jake Seidel here with Kyle Maltrich of the Knights. He's a wide receiver and safety, and he's coming back off a big injury last year. Your first meaningful time in a football game since that injury last year, Kyle. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what was going on in your head?
Yeah, it was a big rival game, and obviously I only got to play 4 games last year. It's been tough, although it's actually gotten me tougher. Going through all those things, working through all of them, kind of got me mentally prepared. Fighting through everything. I always had my team on my side, always getting better. And when I went out there, I knew, hey, it could be the last time. So why not leave it all out for myself and for them?
Well, you had a game-changing touchdown grab in the third quarter, a 7-yard grab from Mason Wolf there. That really changed the complexion of the game, giving West Holmes a 2-score lead. What went through getting that play to go through?
We kind of struggled in the first half. It was 14-7 going into halftime. And Coach always says the most important drive of the game is the first drive of the third quarter. It's kind of propelling us for what's going to happen for the remainder of the game until that clock hits 0. We came out, had a solid drive, went out, scored, and basically propelled us. Obviously, it was 41-7 at the end of the game. We definitely won the second half, and I think that first drive in the third quarter had a huge part of that.
Just a little bit later, you had a 16-yard touchdown grab. What went through getting that grab and getting that score?
Triway was biting up on our jailbreak. It's one of our signature plays. They were biting up real hard on it. Coach called to go. Since they were coached to drive up on that, it kind of left me wide open, and Coach always says find open grass. So when I saw there was only one safety and half the field with me, I ran right where it was open, and Mason Wolf found me downfield.
And going into another rival game against Orville, up in Orville, the Red Riders always play hard on their home turf. What are you guys doing to prepare? What are you in particular doing to prepare for Orville?
We actually, even though it was a good win, 41-7, we all had a bitter taste in our mouths. We knew that first half was rough. We knew it could definitely be better. And Coach said it's like a business trip. And we've all been holding each other accountable. Yesterday, at the end of practice, we were gassed, and our linemen noticed we were all gassed during the game. To hold each other accountable, we took it upon ourselves. We ran sprints at the end of practice. If someone's walking around, we call them out. It's not a feelings game. If someone's going half speed, that's not going to make anyone better. So you call them out there, tell them to do better, and at the end of the day, when we leave these lines, we go back and we thank each other. Like, hey, you're my brother. Thank you for making me better. But while we're on those fields, we all have to push each other. So if we want to be the team we have to be, then we have to push each other.
Okay, well, Kyle, thanks for your time today. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
That is Kyle Maltrich, a wide receiver for the West Holmes Knights.
Well, it's almost here. That's right. The MRV Siding Supplies brand new facility. That's right. It's up and ready to go. Just about. Here in a couple of weeks, they'll have a grand opening for that when everybody kind of gets moved into their new facility. And the great thing about the new facility, a lot more parking here and a huge showroom to display all the products at MRV Siding Supply. And, of course, more convenience for you, the customer. It's on County Road 623, just down from their old facility. So, again, look for that here in a couple of weeks. The grand opening for the new facility for MRV Siding Supply on County Road 623. And again, they're on the web at mrvsiding.com. Well, Orville last season went just 2-8 with just wins over Tuslaw and Lanaville a season ago. Of course, they fell to West Holmes in their game in Knight Stadium last season by a score of 55-20. But West Holmes only had an 8-point lead at halftime in that game before going on to outscore the Red Riders 27-0 in that second half of play in that contest. Of course, Orville, they lost their season opener this year to Worcester in their 111th meeting between those two schools, but Worcester won that game 40-13. For Orville, though, despite the loss, their quarterback Sawyer Hampshire, certainly a solid performance for him, able to show that he's able to hurt you with a lot of passes to different receivers in that game, but not able to really get that running game going or slow down that Worcester offense as they got that setback in week 1. McRoy alongside Jake Seidel once again, and for West Holmes, you look at maybe the big favorites, Jake, on the paper. That was the case last year. Only had that 8-point lead at halftime, so West Holmes knows they can't take anyone lately, and certainly not Orville.
And I'd say definitely the first weeks of the season for West Holmes can always be the toughest when you play Triway and Orville. We don't like to say teams have so many different rivals, but a former OCC opponent and always a strong one at that in the Orville Red Riders. You always expect something to happen when these two teams get together. You look at Orville historically, like we said, they've played Worcester 111 times now, but historically they've done well in these rivalry games, whether it be against Triway, Worcester, or West Holmes. And that's because quarterback play. It seems like they always reload at quarterback, and it's never a rebuild at quarterback.
You mentioned quarterback Sawyer, Hampshire, certainly a guy that can hurt you at times, just like Zach Miller for Triway last week. For Orville, the problem was more being too one-dimensional, not a lot of running game in that game a week ago.
And I'm expecting the Knights to look for that a little bit more up at Orville this week. They gave up a lot of big plays in the air to Zach Miller and the Titans, and I think they're going to try to lock that down, especially with the cornerbacks this week.
I think for West Holmes, obviously, offensively, they're in good hands on the offensive end, but maybe just trying to clean things up a little bit here between week 1 and week 2.
Yeah, and I expect to see Mason Wolf out there making plays with his arms and his legs again against an Orville defensive front that's really struggled the last few years since they've won that state title.
All right, West Holmes on the road again to take on the Orville Red Riders. We'll be video live streaming that contest on the WKLM YouTube page, so look for that. Our hometown football Friday night pregame show at 6 p.m. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. We're also on FM 95.3 and WKLM-FM.com. For Jake Seidel, I'm Mac Roy. Special thanks also to Zach Gardner as well as Kyle Maltrich. And that's been this week's Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by MRV Siding Supply.
Thank you for watching the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show on WKLM.